if I don't get elected, it's going to be a bloodbath.
Now we know that the vaccines work well enough that the virus stops with every vaccinated person.
Very fine people on both sides. You mean the laptop is now another Russia hoax?
We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women created by go. You know the thing.
It's a lie on a news network, and it's a lie that's a lie that they're conscious of.
G'day and welcome to another episode of The Grumpy Old Men, and we've got some really interesting subjects today, including one of the most influential people on X as well as YouTube at the moment. His name is Russel Brand. He's a man who's been taking a bit of a journey lately, and we're going to talk about his journey. And joining me today, like every other night, we've got the incredibly talented Pinky.
Thanks, mate. I love your intros. They're great.
Yeah.
The one time that anyone has any faith in me is when I come here.
That's right, yeah. The day you show up is the day you become a prick.
Yeah, that's right. All of a sudden, the arsehole that used to be on the show.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. you know that Charlie Sheen, Martin Sheen looking guy? Charlie Sheen. It's his son.
Yeah. I only wear these shirts for you, mate.
Yeah, that's right. Shout out to Tony, by the way. Good on you. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, I mean, like I said, we're going to talk about Russel Brand and his amazing journey. I mean, what a guy.
Yeah.
He started off just like Joe Rogan and Elon Musk, the darling of the left, you know. He was a bit of a wild guy, and he admits he's been really wild in his younger days when he was an actor.
Yeah.
And I liked him. I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, get him to the Greek and all that sort of stuff.
He's a very intelligent and very... how can I put it? He's very articulating, very complicated man. It takes him a long time to get a point across, in the sense that he uses a lot of words.
Yeah, very articulated. Yeah. There's one of those words.
Exactly. Unlike myself, which takes me 25 words to say one. Yeah. You know, mean one thing. So, you know, and the biggest thing that's been happening recently is his journey into Christianity. Now, I don't know when it particularly started, but he had a couple of interviews with Tucker Carlson.
Yep.
And Tucker Carlson's very, very religious.
Yeah.
Very devout.
Is he though?
Christian.
I didn't realise that.
He is, yeah. He talks about God all the time.
Well, he does, yeah. I didn't realise he personally was very religious.
Yeah, no, he talks about God and his family all the time.
Yeah, I suppose that's true.
And that's great. I mean, it's no problem having a faith. And I believe Russel Brand was an atheist, and for some reason he started getting onto this journey. And I know recently, over the last probably at least a year, he's been talking to a lot more conservatives, as well as the left as well. He's trying to bring everybody onto his station, his show rather. He talks to Joe Rogan quite a number of times. Like I said, Tucker Carlson. He went on CNN. He would talk to everybody. But for some reason, he's taken hold of Christianity.
Yeah.
And I probably started noticing about 2 months ago, maybe a little bit more than that, he really started talking about Christianity. And he started reciting verses from the Bible. I thought, okay, there's something happening here. And then, what was it, about a week ago, he decided to get baptised.
Yeah.
And that was a big shock.
When was it the Sunday just gone?
Yeah.
So, nearly a week,
Yeah, because he talked about it, and then he started dispelling a lot of... Because he was a real... pagan's not the right word. What would you call him?
Just an atheist. I don't think he had a particular persuasion.
Yeah.
So, I think he sort of... Well, a lot of the times that I watched his videos and what have you, I don't think he really pushed any issues with religion. Never really tried to push anybody towards religion, I suppose you could say.
But he was spiritual.
He was
spiritual.
He was very... No, I know what you're saying. So not pagan, but very earthy. Yeah, in touch
Zen?
with Mother Earth.
What would you call it? Zen?
Something along those lines, I suppose. A lot of love and in touch with the planet.
Yeah, correct.
Type stuff. Yeah. Which is also really good as well. If that's the sort of thing you're into.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that at all. In fact, I always believe that it doesn't matter whether you believe in God, don't believe in God, believe in Mother Earth, don't believe in Mother... None of that's the key factor. I mean, everyone has their own choices in life in regards to that sort of stuff. But I think what's important is that whatever it is that you're believing in and you're striving for and you're pushing towards is of a good nature, which, typically, religion. Well, see, that's a grey area too, isn't it? Because not every religion is pushing towards a good direction. So,
correct.
I don't know.
Correct.
Yeah, but I think he's always been a good person, a good-hearted person in that respect. So, yeah.
And he totally admits his wild days. He doesn't hide
he's
them.
never denied a thing.
But the journey includes also his beliefs in politics as well, and the way that's changed. And as soon as he started coming against any type of fascism, all of a sudden the left started attacking him.
Yeah.
Exactly the same way as they did with Joe Rogan, as well as Elon Musk. And Elon Musk is just simply for free speech.
Yeah.
He's still lefty. He believes in climate change.
Yep.
He's out to save the planet, with electric cars and so forth. And Joe Rogan's the same. He's very liberal, but he can see there's an issue on that side. So he's calling him out.
I would class them as traditional liberalists.
I agree. Totally
they're
agree.
sort of, what we know of someone who's liberal from a couple of decades
Which
ago.
is what I used to be.
Yeah. So I was always traditionally very centre. I wouldn't say I was liberal or conservative, but and I still have the same views that I've always had. But now I'm far right. So it's like unless you,
mate, you're Hitler.
unless you're like absolute far left, everything's far right.
Yeah, correct. Yeah,
it's like a spectrum. Like the centre used to be here, and far left and far right,
Yeah.
and now everything over here is
that's
far
right. I've actually stayed in the same spot, but everyone else has moved. And all of a sudden I've gone, oh, okay.
And I think it's the same for those guys as well.
Yeah.
Like they're in the same scenario. They haven't changed their views really when you think about it.
I totally agree. The main difference, I think, between these three guys and a lot of the prominent, we'll call them celebrities, is the fact that they called it out.
Yeah.
And everyone else, like Stephen King, Bette Midler, Mark Hamill, which we've mentioned them before in the show, they are so tribalist that doesn't matter what the left do, they will stick by him.
Yeah.
And they will not call out, what the problem is. In fact, I would probably label all three having TDS, Trump derangement syndrome. So you're never ever going to see anything clearly through those eyes if you're constantly in this TDS situation. Whereas on the flip side, when you've got the other three, Russel Brand and Tucker and Tucker was always been.
Yeah.
Well, no, he was more of a centrist at one stage. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I've seen plenty of videos of him sitting there having a laugh and swearing and having a drink, and he's not.
Some of the behind the scenes.
He's not that total.
Goody two shoes.
Yeah. So he's still very level-headed.
Yeah. I was trying to say Russell, Joe, and Elon. Those three. They've become a lot more outspoken, and because of that, they're now being attacked left, right, and centre. As soon as Russell Brand came out, all of a sudden these people from his history back in days when he was young and wild came out and I was molested by him. I was raped by him.
All these accusations. Yeah. Where are they now?
Yeah,
they disappeared.
Exactly, and the timing was just unbelievable. It was spot on there. One of the big things I think we should do is just have a quick look at what he said last weekend.
Yeah.
About his baptism.
Sure.
Was it last weekend or was it Thursday or Friday?
Yeah.
Let's say a week ago.
About a week ago.
And heading over to X.
Die and be reborn. This Sunday, I'm taking the plunge. I'm getting baptized. At the moment, I'm very curious as to what you who have been baptized feel about it, what your expectations are of the event prior, and what it's actually like. What's been explained to me is it's an opportunity to die and be reborn, an opportunity to leave the past behind and be reborn in Christ's name, like it says in Galatians, that you can live as an enlightened and awakened person. Sometimes I think of non-Christian perspectives on it, like Marcus Aurelius saying, you are already dead, now live the rest of your life properly, or the Buddhist saying, put down the corpse. All of these things seem so inviting and beautiful. I know a lot of people are sort of cynical about the increasing interest in Christianity and the return to God, but to me it's obvious. As meaning deteriorates in the modern world, as our value systems and institutions crumble, all of us become increasingly aware that there is this eerily familiar awakening and beckoning figure that we've all known all of our lives within us and around us. And for me it's very exciting. One of my concerns is I'm thinking about doing it in the River Thames, so I could be getting sort of baptised in toxoplasmosis and E.
That's what I was
coli
thinking.
based on what I've learned.
Hope he survives.
So I may be leaving behind the sins, but
He'll find
might
out
be
quick
picking
enough
up
if
some
heaven's
pretty
real.
serious viruses.
Yeah.
Let me know what you guys think about it and how you feel about it. Thanks.
Amen, brother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? He just comes across so genuine.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I believe
That's the one
yeah.
thing you must. That's what, like you're saying before. He hasn't tried to hide his past. I think that's one of the things that, you know, even if you've got a shady past, or not shady, but even if you've got a questionable past,
Yeah,
the fact that you don't deny it is what keeps your own credibility. And then
Absolutely.
to be able to stand there now and say, look, that was then. This is now. This is who I am and what I am. I think that speaks volumes if you're able to not deny your past,
Yeah.
rather than try to hide it.
I think that was one of his shields. The fact that he admitted it, had no issues with
Yeah.
it, that it went away so quickly.
Yeah.
The newspapers didn't have anything. He's admitted it. What do we do now? You know,
Yeah.
we can't attack them. We can't say, oh, you lied, and try and find some more garbage. Because if they find more garbage, he's just going to say, yeah, I did it.
Yeah.
And then where's that story going to go?
That's right.
Nowhere.
Goes nowhere.
So, yeah, that died very, very quickly,
Yeah.
which is great to see. And I wish they would just, not do that type of stuff. But how else are
what
they
they
going
do.
to sell it?
That's what they do.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Sensationalisation, as we always say.
Yeah. And also one of the things that Russell brings up is the things like mysticism. He used to talk about tarot cards. He used to talk about ghosts and all those type of things. And now I wouldn't say he's disputing. He's kind of questioning him now. And I've got another video that came out recently as well in the last few days. And like I said, he talks about tarot cards. Oh, in a sec when I get it right. There we go.
Kidnapped and held hostage by some railings? That can't be good news, can it? Oh, it's the old kidnapped and held hostage by some railings card. That's good. That means you are going to get a new puppy. Like, it's not going to be that, is it? Well, actually, we've looked into it, and this card is called the Eight of Swords. And it symbolises feeling trapped and restricted, perhaps by your own convictions, self-imposed barriers that can be shed with an open mind. Do you feel trapped? Are you in a state of anxiety and fear? And can you remove the blindfold to become free? I'm interested, I suppose, in the intuitive reactions one might have to tarot, particularly as I move into a more clearly delineated spiritual space with a more clearly ordained path, i.e. a lot of Christians would say that tarot and even yoga is a kind of heresy. What's your personal view on that? Do you still use stuff like this and the I Ching? Do you still look out for symbols and signs as you move further down a particular pathway? One thing for sure that when you get something like that, it does serve as a tool for reflection and personal analysis, because I do feel that if I remove the blindfold or let the scales fall from my eyes, I would see more clearly what the path is. I read today, I think, on Hallow, and it's an app that I use for meditation. It's absolutely beautiful, that if you focus on God, that is all you have to do. God will do everything else. Now, you hear stuff like that and it sort of makes a bit of sense, doesn't it? You think, well, all right, so what am I actually worried about now? I'm worried about this attack. I'm worried about this aspect of my family life or this aspect of my personal partnership. Like, how do I focus on God? Well, I suppose what that means is I have faith, I trust, I remove the blindfold and see that the pathway of God is the only pathway for me. God is in charge of my relationship. God is in charge of my working life. And I know what God's principles are. Service, kindness, faith, trust, hope, charity, gratitude, acceptance, surrender. So if I'm not doing that stuff, oh, well, is that 8 swords? Let's just say that one weren't there. Then, if I'm not doing that stuff, then no wonder I'm feeling anxious. What do you think about that? And are you happy with hybrid modalities where you're able to meddle in occultist arts? I mean, is that a pentagram? I'm not sure what kind of star that is, but there's some questions. Are you happy to use hybrid models from woo to Q, as I heard Duncan Trussell once say?
Amazing.
Yeah. I think most people are. I don't mind a bit of a mixed.
So much insight there.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to his journey. I want to see what he's going to be like in 12 months' time,
fascinating.
and how much he dissects it.
Yeah.
Because he's not a straight thinker. he's a real critical thinker. He will look at it, he will dissect it, he will just shred it until he finds
quite
the
in
truth.
depth,
Yeah.
yeah.
He may move away from Christianity simply because he's discovered it's not his thing, you know.
Yeah, well, that's right.
Yeah.
Well, I think he's been around enough people
Yeah.
now to decide that maybe it is his thing. So I don't know, but it's, you know, I understand what he's asking there. As a person of faith myself, I understand what he's asking, and you know, we've had this conversation before off air in the past about, you know, my issue with religion, modern religion, and that is that, you know, there's a lot of cherry picking.
Correct.
You know, and that's always been the biggest issue for me. Like, you know, it doesn't, to me, I don't care what your religion is. I'm never going to hold that against you. That's, you know, their personal choices of faith. But, you know, you can't stand behind a religion and go, well, I'm only going to reflect on the parts that I like, and I'm going to ignore all the rest. You know, if you're going to, you know, if you want to do that, internalize it. That's my view. If you want to look at the Bible and you only want to take, you know, the New Testament because Old Testament's too scary and nasty, then that's fine. But don't stand there on your soapbox preaching about God and Christianity. Now, at least Russell's taking the approach that, you know, he's asking that question to people of faith. Can you make this like a hybrid version for yourself? Is that acceptable to do?
Yeah.
He's asking that question, which is a really valid question, especially these days.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be an interesting journey for him. It'll be interesting to watch.
To me, it kind of feels it happened fairly quickly.
Yeah.
It kind of, again, I think it kind of started somewhere around the Tucker Carlson interviews, because you didn't hear much, if anything, about religion. Then all of a sudden, he starts talking about it. And the more he talks about it, the deeper he seems to get into it. It's not just like a superficial discussion about it. He really delves deep into the I don't know, lack of a better word, the psyche of maybe Christianity.
Yeah.
How it works, you know, how does it function in society. It's really taken on board. I'm loving seeing this. I think it's really exciting.
Yeah, look, there's still, you know, some people still see a separation between, you know, science and intelligence versus religion. It'd be interesting to see someone of his intellect tackle, you know, this path. So, you know, he'll explore every nook and cranny.
Yeah.
You know, so it's going to be interesting. But I think, I don't know. When I saw it, I've sort of seen it, but I haven't paid that much weight to it until now. When he said, "By the way, I'm getting baptized."
Yeah,
like,
that's
well,
right.
hang on a minute. He's not just talking about God. He's actually following a path here. So, yeah, it comes as a bit of a shock to me too. But I feel like, you know, I've got friends that are not religious at all, right? And they've got kids that are in primary school, and they're sending their kids to Catholic primary school not because of the religion. In fact, one of them actually turned around to me and said, if they come home and start talking all that God stuff, I'm going to be really... So it's not about that. It was purely about the moral environment, you know, that you know, there's a lot of morals and principles in those environments, whereas you send them to your typical state school and there's none of that. So it's not just that there's no religion, there's also not a lot of morals and principles in those sort of environments. So a lot of people are leaning on Catholic religion to help get their kids through and give them a really good foundation.
Yeah. Do you think people lean on religion when times are really...
Absolutely.
You know, tough
totally,
and turmoil?
totally. And I think it's a shame that if you are the sort of person that does believe in God and you are the sort of person that has faith, it's a shame that you wait till your back's against the wall, because, you know, if you are that sort of person, then, you know, God will be there for you at any time.
Yeah.
It's a shame people have to wait until, you know, it's like, you know, there's like someone goes into hospital, has an operation, right? And then you've got this doctor who's been studying their whole life to perform a surgery, right? And then the person comes out of surgery and they're fine. And then what's the first thing that the relatives say? Oh, thank God. It's like, well, you know, so even whether we mean to or not, we're still referencing him all the time. We've still got him there in the back of our minds, you know. And then you could say, well, hang on, it wasn't God, it was the surgeon. Go, yeah, but who gave the surgeon the skills?
Yeah, that's right.
So, you know, it's like, it's a circular argument. But, you know, I think that when things get tough like this and they feel like there's no one else to talk to, you know, we've talked before about the echo chambers of society where, you know, we all find people that we align our views with, and we become a little echo chamber, and we look to that circle for support and, you know, their input into what you're doing and your input to what they're doing, and just helping to work through decisions together. And God doesn't really play a part of that for a lot of people. But when the shit really hits the fan and you're all scattering going, well, I don't know what to do next. I don't know how we're going to fix these problems. I don't know how to tackle this. I don't know how to tackle that. Then all of a sudden people start to lean back on God again. And I feel like that's the circle that we go around and round in. It's like that whole, I can't remember the exact wording, but it's like, you know, good men create good times, soft men, blah, blah, blah. You know the thing. I think I do want to joke Biden myself, but I think it's very similar to that. Like, we go through this circle of, you know, we don't care about religion, and then all of a sudden, bang, religion's at the forefront again. And I think that, you know, when your government is failing you, school environments are failing you, work environments are failing you, you know, everywhere you turn is failing you, but you're looking for more strength with morals and you know, and character, the only place left you can look to is religion. Yeah. So I think people go back there. Yeah. You know, I think that's where we're at.
I think that saying's weak men create. Weak time.
See,
I'll
the thing.
Good times create weak men. Weak men create bad times. Bad times create strong men. Strong men create good times.
I think that's still wrong. Stick it in the comments.
You know the thing.
You know the thing. But you know what I mean? Yeah. It's like a circle, and it goes that goes around and round and round forever. Yeah. You know, and I think it's the same with religion. You know.
Well, Russel Brand's very influential because he's got like almost 7 million followers on just YouTube alone. Yeah. And another God knows how many millions on X, almost said Twitter, X, and Rumble as well, and he's moving a lot of his stuff over to Rumble. And the same, like I said, the same with Joe Rogan and Elon Musk has got like 150 million followers or something. Yeah. Something crazy like that. And so they're getting the word out. Yeah. You know, I have no idea about Elon Musk. I have no idea if he's religious. I don't think Joe Rogan is. I've never heard him talk about it. Well, all the shows that I've watched, I don't remember him saying anything about it. I do remember him having a good discussion with Tucker Carlson, and he talked a lot about religion, but I just didn't get any yays or nays from Joe Rogan during that discussion. And I think that's one of the good things about Joe being an interviewer, because he kind of sits back and lets
his stays neutral.
Guest, and a lot of people say he's fence sitter, but I like the fact that he just sits there. Doesn't attack him, doesn't...
Oh, look, I think that's part of his style, which I think is fantastic. I've seen him do interviews with people, and they're bringing up topics that are so out of this world that you're sitting there laughing, going, as if that's real, like the flat earthers and people like that. And you watch Joe Rogan, and instead of going, come on, mate, you got to... He just goes, really? He's like, he almost gets... Not sucked into it,
that's
but it's like...
he wants to know.
You know, he wants to understand. So when they say, well, it works like this because of this and this, you go... Oh, wow, I didn't realise that, you know, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So he never discredits them or tries to shut them down that I've seen.
And when they leave, he goes, oh, God, that's a fucking idiot over there. Another one.
I'm sure he doesn't. I'm sure he's got a very open mind, Joe Rogan.
But that's why he gets everybody on his show.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, everybody wants to be on his show.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. But no, it'd be interesting to see. I mean, and like you said there about, you know, is it acceptable to basically create a hybrid, or is it better that you stick to that one religion? Well, if you do have a closed mind to other religions and you don't try to take on board something that you can learn, you know, everything in life is a learning experience. And when you talk to somebody of a different faith, you learn things. Yeah. And I think if you try to shut that down, that's where you're one step away from extremism. And whether you want to think that or not, it's true, because, you know, and you look at people say, I've had so many people say, oh, you know, most of the wars around the world stem back to religion. And they do, but it's religious extremists that are the problem. Religion in general is not the issue. So to bundle, to me, it's like two completely different things. To bundle the wars around the world into religion and say religion's the cause, I see the principle you're trying to bring up here, but that's not as simple as that. It's more nuanced than that. You know, these things are extremist views that cause these problems.
I agree.
So, you know.
As an agnostic, I think there's something out there, but I don't. I'm not a guy that believes in God. There is something there. I don't know what it is. Some energy. Not sure. But I still believe that religion is an essential part of society.
For what reason?
Because it gives guidance to a lot of people.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about the fact that thou shalt not kill. I'm just talking about general everyday stuff. Things when they're feeling a bit down, they can go through the Bible or just go through the verses or just, in their solace go, thank God, I'm having a bad day. Can you get me through this day? Blah, blah, blah. And have that as a comfort to get through.
Yeah, sure.
I think that's essential.
Yeah.
So I'm not the one to say don't believe in them, or Muslims are right, or Orthodox are right, or whatever, Hindus are right, because they've all got their own gods.
Yeah.
And please believe in whatever you want to believe, okay? But for me, it's just through my experiences, I prefer to kind of, wouldn't say rely on myself. I don't need a higher force because I pretty much understand that I've got to control my own destiny. But occasionally, I've done the same thing. Oh God, help me. Oh God, don't give me a better day and things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the things I've always considered with one of the reasons I still turn to the foundations of my faith. For a bit of strength and a bit of guidance, but I don't really turn to God per se, and I won't usually sit there and go, I've run out of fuel in my car. Oh God, help me! If I could if you can give me the strength to push my car a bit further. I don't lean on God much in that respect, and it's only because I feel like that's a little bit arrogant.
Yeah,
and there's probably religious people out there that would disagree with me, but I feel like that's a little bit arrogant. I think God's got bigger things on his mind than my car running out of petrol. You know what I mean? So to sit here
watching
and
specifically you.
Yeah, it's like like those people that walk outside when it's raining and go, "Damn, I knew it was going to rain because of this and that." And the one day I want to put my washing out. And go, do you really think that that's how the universe works? You, one little guy in the back of Frankston. The universe cares about you that much that it wants to rain when you're putting your washing out. It's like you're either really stupid or really arrogant.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, I totally get it. Totally get it. So, like we said, it's next year or so, I'm very interested in see that
Definitely.
journey.
We'll be watching this space.
I'm actually keen to see where we're going to be in 1 year's time, generally.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll be in a much better place.
We could all be baptised and religious by then.
Well, aren't you already?
Yeah.
When you be?
Yeah, we all. I'm talking about me.
Okay. Maybe
Society.
Maybe not.
As a whole. Okay.
Anyway, let's change the subject a bit to our next story. Now, I'm going to play a video, Pinky, and have a look at this and tell me if you know what's happening here.
Sure.
I've put Chinese subtitles on there, so...
just to confuse me?
Just to confuse you.
Well, you forget I speak Mandarin.
Yeah, but this is a really interesting video.
I speak Mandarin,
Do you really?
Yeah. I can't read it, but...
What do you know in Mandarin?
I'm slightly distracted. Pardon?
What do you know in Mandarin?
I know Mandarin, orange, banana. I know all of them.
You speak citrus. It's not Mandarin. Okay. Yeah. All right. Let's have a look at this video.
Konnichiwa. Is that Mandarin? I don't know.
No.
It's Japanese. I don't know.
Oh, no.
My kids are probably screaming at me right now because my kids speak Japanese.
Yeah, I have no
Dad,
idea.
you idiot. Anyway.
Pinky, what do you think that's about?
Well, the writing says... No, it says, just like Tiananmen Square. So you heard it again. I don't know. I shouldn't make jokes because it doesn't look like a funny situation.
It's not. It's very serious, actually.
It looks to me like they've just either found... Well, there wouldn't be a drug farm. It looks almost like a drug farm.
It kind of looks like with all the plants.
But it wouldn't be, not in China, not that blatant. I don't know. Maybe they've done something to piss the government off and they're getting towed away.
Yeah, correct. Would you believe they're actually being hauled away because they did not grow the right crop?
They didn't grow hang on, they grew crops when they weren't allowed, or they grew the wrong crop?
They grew the wrong crop. That family was allocated to grow sugarcane, but they grew bananas. So the government came in and hauled them away. Because in China, the farmers are actually allocated what they can grow and how much of it they can grow.
Well, yeah. What can I say? Communist country.
Yeah. Coming to a farmer near you.
Coming to Australia.
Yeah,
but that's crazy. Look, farming. Let's not get started on farming. We could do a whole episode on that. Yeah. The way things are going around the world. Yeah, it's just crazy.
Especially Europe. What a disaster that is.
Mate, the Netherlands. Yeah, don't get me started. The poor
Carl's
Netherlands.
farting. I saw a great meme. I digress here. I saw a meme where what was it? I think it was Bill Gates was talking about how much methane is it that comes out of a cow's butt.
Yep.
And the meme said, basically, Bill Gates, you lock yourself in the garage with a running car, and I lock myself in the garage with a cow, and see who survives that night.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I don't know. It's all a scam. I'm sick of it all. It's all a scam. You'll get me fired up if you're not careful. And you know what happens when I get fired up? I start swearing. Well, so, okay. Now, obviously I don't agree with that. Neither do you. Most people wouldn't. But I do have to ask, why didn't they just grow sugarcane?
Is it profits?
Maybe
they're making more money out of bananas.
Maybe.
How often do I have sugarcane? Sugar.
Daily, I suppose.
Yeah, sugar.
Yeah, I suppose.
What can you produce out of sugarcane other than sugar?
Yeah, but wouldn't there be more demand for that though than bananas?
No idea. Maybe the soil was better they can yield better crops.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not a farmer.
Yeah, see, farming's a tough thing. Yeah. I don't know enough about farming to comment a lot, but I can certainly say that's wrong.
Yeah, well, the issue is the fact that they wanted to grow something else and they're not allowed to, and now they're going to jail.
Well, the way it's going at the moment, you won't be allowed to grow anything without permission.
Well, most of the time we're not allowed to do things in our own backyards.
Well, they're clamping down on that here.
I remember when I was growing up as a child, and I come from an ethnic family, and we used to have lambs and goats in our backyard. I mean, I'm talking about the suburbs. Yeah. And we could still have gardens as well. But
that was the same for everybody in the 1700s.
Yeah. Okay, fine. And chickens. I don't think chickens are allowed anymore.
Did they have chickens in your day?
Yeah, but they were like still in the egg.
Yeah, must have been dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, look, farming's such a thing. I mean, you look at our population explosion over the years. Like this country, this world can still sustain the number of people we have.
Yeah.
Right, regardless of what anybody tells you, we know that they can. The evidence is there. But at the same time, you look at the farming industry, and years ago they had issues with crop yields and how much they could turn over because the soil had to settle in between crops. Someone might be able to correct my terminology on this. So I'm on the right principle, but I might be saying the wrong definitions. So the soil had to settle before they could use it again. So they often use one paddock to grow something, and then they'd use a different paddock for their next crop, right? And let that other one settle. Well, then along came Monsanto and a bunch of chemicals that changed the way the plants grow and the soil works. So all of a sudden they could just continuously reuse the same soil. Now, in a lot of countries, that soil's dying from the chemicals. So, the same soil that could have been tethered for years and years and years and tended to is now dying, and we've only got X amount of yields left before that soil can't be used anymore because of the chemicals. And then, along came the weed killers and what have you as well, like Roundup and all that sort of stuff, to help with the yield of crops. And now there's something like, it's some ridiculously high statistic that people aren't even aware of. It's something like 75% of the air that we breathe is chemical, and a ridiculously high percentage of chemical in our water, that our bodies are full of chemicals from Monsanto. Thank you very much, guys. Appreciate it. So it's a farming is a messy thing, and you've got countries that have got it down to a fine art, like the Netherlands. The yield, they're one of the highest yielding, economies for farming in the world, and they're having to give up parts of their land because anyway.
But that covers so much area. A good example is chickens. KFC, Red Rooster.
Yeah.
And I watched a documentary recently, and it was by the guy who did that McDonald's one all those years ago. Where he ate
Super Size Me?
Yeah, Super Size Me, that one there. Same guy. And he did one on how the food industry works. He decided to do it on a chicken. He wanted to open up a fast food chicken takeaway. And he showed the whole process. From the time they brought in the chicks, and they were like typical chick size, you see in little cutie photos. In 6 weeks, they were like a basketball size.
Yeah.
They got so big so quickly that their legs couldn't support them, and they would collapse. They had a huge amount of chicks just dying simply from their own weight. 6 weeks is an amazing time to go from this to this. It's huge.
Oh, look, there's been all sorts of things with chemicals in food like that. I mean, they're saying that the amount of hormones that they were putting into those chickens, I don't know if it's changed, because I do know what you're talking about. It was a few years ago now. But the amount of hormones that are put into those chickens, it was affecting, breast growth in young girls and early menopause, and then for men, erectile dysfunction, from all the chemicals in the food.
I don't eat any chicken, by the way.
So if you're wondering why you have these issues at a younger age, that's a big part of it.
Yeah.
So, and that's getting younger and younger, and breasts on girls is getting younger and younger, and puberty is getting younger and younger. We're going, and it's all chemical related. And I don't know what the solution is, but and passed on, because a lot of those things can't be broken down and passed on. And this whole thing about antibiotics, that we all think that, because we've had a lot of antibiotics over our lifetime, we've built up an immunity to antibiotics, or our system has. It's not actually the drugs that you've been consuming from the doctor that have caused this problem. Most of the stuff that goes into Monsanto's chemicals is actually antibiotics, believe it or not. They use this very similar antibiotic that we use in our body to fight germs, they use to kill weeds.
Oh, jeez.
So that's all going into the food. So all the antibiotics that we're consuming is in our food. So food and farming is a nasty industry.
We're going to be looking very differently in a couple of 100 years' time.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Well, we already are. I mean, we look at the obesity that we have around the world, diabetes.
Absolutely.
Diabetes is off the chart. And all these things relate directly back to food.
Yeah. I actually saw this video on my X feed today, and had some dude just walking along a street in Russia, and it looked like it was like a Saturday night, Friday, weekend evening. All the young people were out. There weren't any fat people anywhere.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, what's going on here?
They got them all up. Remember when?
Are they in Siberia?
Remember when they did that in America? They got all the homeless off the street.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, that's what they did. They got all the fat people
and
hit
video.
We don't want the rest of the world.
For this random guy.
Yeah.
And I was amazed, and the young girls were quite pretty, you know. And I just couldn't believe
we have some pretty girls and fit guys here.
Of course we do.
Yeah.
Of course
Australia's still hanging in there. America's stick a fork in it, they're done.
Yeah, they're done.
In fact, stick 2 forks in it. Get more food in that way.
And turn it over.
Yeah, but some countries are still not too bad. But yeah, with the amount of it's chemicals. Chemicals are always the issue.
I think it's a Western issue that we're having, a Western world issue.
Yes and no. I mean, I can't think of her first name. Shiva. She's Indian. She's often on Russel Brand's show. She's facing similar issues in India. So it's not just in the Western world. It's happening all around the world. It's spreading.
Yeah.
We're sort of the front runners, I guess, but it's spreading. And the fact that Bill Gates owns more farm land than anybody in the world is just out of control. And so that it'll all spread. I mean, you look at things like the fake meat that everyone's peddling now. You read the chemical list on that, that can make your eyes water.
Yeah.
It's insane. It's not meat, but look at what it is. It's just this list of ingredients that are just harmful, horrible stuff. So it's not just, you know, people think that we're giving a nice, you know, sustainable option over meat,
And then when you combine that particular food group with another food group with its own set of chemicals, you just get injected so much with this rubbish.
Totally.
Yeah,
It's crazy. But what do you do? I mean, the cost of food now is astronomical.
Even organic food's got a level of...
Organics, Oh, well, it has chemicals, but cost-wise, like, I mean, you can barely afford to feed your you can barely feed your said Joe Biden never. You can barely afford to feed your own family as it is, but to look to organic foods and things like that to give your kids a healthier lifestyle, you can't. No one can afford that. The position you have to be in to afford that is getting harder and harder.
It's sad a majority of the people now, when they build new houses, build these huge houses on a small block of land.
Yeah.
So they have no room for gardens.
Yep.
My parents, coming over from China, I'm Chinese, believe it or not. Seriously.
That's true. I'm surprised you couldn't read that. Anyway.
I can't. No, I was actually born in China. There you go.
Yeah.
And one of the things is, because they come from a farming family, when they came over here, they've always had gardens out the backyard.
Yeah.
So right to this day, they're elders in their mid-80s, and they're still growing a garden out the back. So every summer I have all these fresh fruits. Fantastic. I have tomatoes, like this, huge tomatoes.
Yeah.
And cucumbers. God blimey, that's huge.
Yeah.
Huge cucumbers. So I grew up on fresh fruit, my whole life.
Yeah.
So, and it's because they've got a normal, in those days it was a normal house on a normal sized block of land, but we had a huge backyard. Sorry, like half the block was backyard.
Was the yard.
Yeah. So you had a great section for your garden and a great section, for your lawn still and your hills hoist.
Yeah.
And so there's always been a garden. We don't have that anymore.
Yeah.
Instead, we need to have a 250 square metre house on a 300 square metre block.
It's crazy. I've been to houses that are 2-storey, 5-bedroom. There's 3 people living in the house. Got 3 bathrooms, 2 lounge rooms and a separate dining room, and then as in a formal dining room, and then a dining room off the kitchen. And this is just average couple. They both work. These aren't big money people, but you've got to have the latest and greatest. And all this, and then you go out the back, and their backyard is not much bigger than this studio, and it's fake lawn.
Yeah.
And you're like, come on. And then it's okay, the kids are fine because there's a park across the road. Because, by law, when they build these estates, a certain amount of it has to be undeveloped or needs to be open air. So, you can either have a little bit more backyard each, or you can have a bit less backyard each and have a park. So they go with the park. But they think that the 150 families that live in that little vicinity are all going to go to the park and have a barbecue. I mean, come on. But that's what people seem to want these days.
Yeah.
And then, that brings us full circle. We started this conversation with chickens, and now everyone's a battery hen.
Exactly. All right, let's lighten the mood a bit, because I want to have a bit of fun with my favourite target, young Biden. Mumbling Biden, bumbling Biden, that dude.
Yeah.
And, oh my God, recently, if you haven't heard about this gaff, you're living in some type of, bubble.
Yeah, Twilight Zone.
Yeah, he decided to come out and say that he's, what was it, his uncle? Is it his uncle?
Yeah, I think it was his uncle. Yeah, his uncle.
Get ready for this. If you didn't hear it, it was eaten by cannibals. Don't believe me? Have a look at this video on X, and let's check it out.
And my uncle, they called him Ambrose Brosey, they called him Bosey. My uncle Bosey was a hell of an athlete, they tell me, when he was a kid. And he became an Army Air Corps before the Air Force came along. He flew those single-engine planes as reconnaissance over war zones. And he got shot down in New Guinea. And they never found the body because there were a lot of cannibals for real in that part of New Guinea. Ambrose Finnegan, when they called him Uncle Bosey, he was shot down. He was an Army Air Corps before there was an Air Force. He flew single-engine planes, reconnaissance flights over New Guinea. He had volunteered because someone couldn't make it got shot down in an area where there were a lot of cannibals living at the time.
I believe the second part of that little clip was the following day, so he continued with it. Shall we play this fact check?
He does do that. When he comes up with a story, the guy should write a book. But when he comes up with
the tales of
the tales of the Biden family, they actually they probably. He comes up with this story, but then when you hear him the next day or the next couple of days, he almost quotes it word for word. It's like he's come up with this idea in his head, and this is how I'm going to say it. Now I'm going to say it the same way every time. So he's never really, put much flair into them. But the stories are so. You know what it reminds me of? When you go to like an old people's home and there's one guy rambling in the corner.
Yeah.
Back in my day, and but it's not even like addressed to anyone particular. It's like, and then I said, Margaret, just rambling. That's exactly what he sounds like. You know, it's like he's addressing an audience of people. He's there for a particular topic, and he's going off on a tangent about. He has more segues than I do.
Why would he talk? But what's the reasoning behind?
I don't know. Was he there addressing the Air Force, or what was he there for in the first place?
Yeah, I can't remember what the.
Because that's the other thing. He has this habit of going off on these personal stories when he's there to address the public.
Correct. Yeah, he tries to. I think so. He becomes like part of that little community.
Yeah, he's trying to blend himself into the community.
Yeah, and I mean,
connect.
I think didn't he say he grew up in the black community at one stage, went to a black church, and also
he probably said he was black once. I don't know.
His parents were Irish and were part of I don't know. Just never ends.
It never ends with him. Never ends.
Well, the real story is his Uncle Bosie. He did. He was in the plane, but the plane wasn't shot down. They're not 100% sure what happened, but it actually crashed in the ocean.
Yeah.
So it didn't even fly over anything. It wasn't even shot down. Now, 3 people survived from that plane. I think there was 5. Correct me if I'm wrong. There was 5 people on the plane. 3 survived. Uncle Bosie wasn't one of them. So they were nowhere near cannibals. And in fact, it crashed in the ocean. So everything about that story, other than the name.
Well, he might have washed up on shore, pre-salted.
God blimey.
That's how seasoning was invented, wasn't it? Someone dropped half a cow in the ocean one day.
Oh, did they?
Probably.
Oh, geez. You probably got a bit of seafood in there as well.
But cannibalism, it's funny because cannibalism was still a thing until about 1950 in Papua New Guinea. And the government clamped down on it and said, no more eating family and friends. And then by 1960, it had pretty much disappeared.
Yeah.
So
it was more about war tribes. They were fighting each other.
Yeah,
if they
of course.
lost,
Somebody joking about the family and friends. But have your friend around for dinner, literally. But, by 1960, it was gone. Yeah. But at the time of the Second World War, it was still a thing.
Yeah.
But, if he crashed in the middle of the ocean, well, the chances of them finding his body are pretty remote.
Yeah.
So,
well, I don't think they ever found the bodies anyway.
No, that's right. And look, even if there was the possibility of that happening, there's no evidence that happened.
Yeah. Well, that's right. But it's not only that, but why would you even put cannibals into the story? Cannibals. This is like watching a Tarzan movie.
I like to rub my hairs and watch them stand up. He just likes to put things in.
Yeah. What do you say, the little roaches or something?
Yeah, he feels like he's connecting. That's the thing. He feels like he's connecting with people if he tells them a story.
Yeah.
Most people are standing there horrified. But he's like, it doesn't matter. I'm still connecting.
Yeah.
It's like, it's just,
And of course, a couple of days later, I think he's a Fox reporter. He was in the press room talking to Jean-Pierre Corinne or something, the press secretary, who's another story altogether. And he asked a question about the cannibalism story.
Why is President Biden saying that his Uncle Bosie was eaten by cannibals?
So, I answered this question yesterday. I believe I've seen some clips on your network about me answering this question. I don't have much to say beyond what I said to some of your colleagues. Look, I was there. I think you traveled with us too to Pennsylvania. I'm not sure if you were there at the memorial.
She's terrible as a press secretary.
In Scranton, the president had a emotional and I think, a symbolic moment.
Symbolic of his struggle against reality.
Absolutely.
Oh my God! What's her name? Jean-Pierre Corinne, something like that. Whatever. She's just a terrible press secretary.
Yeah.
Absolutely terrible.
But look at, you know me, I always like to play devil's advocate.
Yeah.
Look at what she has to deal with.
Well, true. That's true.
Look at the messes she has to clean up. I actually feel sorry for her. She's going to have a mental breakdown, that woman. Trying to keep up with Biden's stories.
After every time Biden appears,
she must be sitting in her office going, "Fucking not again."
Yeah, but they tried to overthrow her over the weekend.
Really?
They're trying to sack her because apparently she just reads straight out of the book, and she doesn't understand the nuances of a lot of the issues.
Yeah.
And she's she's not good out of her job. We all know that. We've always known that. At least
she's probably trying to get sacked.
Well, she did say she's going to try and make it through the presidency, even go through the election period as well. Wasn't a fan of Jen Psaki, the previous press secretary, because she lied through her teeth, but she was, at least she did her job,
she could
was to
compose
spin it.
herself.
Yeah, she always circled back anyway, so we never found out the answers. And of course, the memes went crazy because of what he said.
Yeah.
So let's have a look at the first meme. Check out around his waist. Oh my God! There was a video that came out a couple of days later. And it was the Prime Minister of New Guinea. He was not happy. He was like, we do not eat people.
Yeah. Oh, let's face it. In 1950, they did.
Yeah, correct. So on to the next one. We got another meme. Biden for dinner 2024. Yeah. Anyway, what can you do?
Yeah,
what can you do?
The guy looks very confused. He's having his photo taken.
Yeah. I mean, what would you have? What would you have? Well, I want to know what type of conversation you would have with Biden if you had him around for dinner. Do you think you would actually have a conversation?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think you would just listen to him. You know, like when you go and visit your granddad, and you can't actually have a conversation. All you can do is sit and listen to him tell a story.
Yeah.
You go, oh wow.
I reckon it would be just making up.
I reckon it'd be like that. You just it'd be hard to hold a conversation for him, you know. So I think he would just sit there and ramble on.
Personally, I probably think he wouldn't even make it to dinner. He'll be in bed by 5:30.
Oh, probably.
Asleep, snoring away.
Have his ice cream and go to bed. Sniff your hair.
Sleeping away.
sniff the kid's hair. Have some ice cream and go to bed.
Oh God! Or visiting his daughter Ashley in the shower.
Yeah. Oh,
if you haven't heard about that, check out Ashley's diary, which has been authenticated apparently.
Wow, that's scary.
Because they put the woman who's supposed to have stolen the fake diary in jail. I think she's in there for like 8 months or something in jail over it.
Way to give credence
Sick
to
family.
A story.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And finally, we've got to get our little action figures as well. Uncle Bosie and the cannibal. Imagine playing with those two. What do you do? Start at the leg.
Yeah.
Oh, they're quick, aren't they? They're very good.
Oh, that's the good side about memes. They're within minutes. There's something, you know.
And actually, there's one more. But this isn't really the cannibalism theme. It's more of what Biden actually is.
Well, that's what you would have had him with vegetables, wouldn't you?
Yeah, the old-fashioned vegetable. Jeez.
Yeah.
You know, we were talking about in a previous episode how the world is laughing at us because of our censorship and what's going on. We're laughing at them back, you know, in a totally different area. At their president.
Yeah,
you know?
I think the world's more shocked about us than laughing. Oh, there's probably they're
I
laughing
would
too.
agree.
But I think it's more shocked. Like, I can't believe this is happening to a country like Australia. Whereas he's just laugh a minute.
What baffles me is the fact that after everything that's happened, people still support him. They recently did a poll. In fact, recently over the weekend, he's what was it, the seventh most popular president. Oh no, sorry, he's the lowest rated president in the last 70 years. So that's where it got the seventh from. That is under President Carter as well as Nixon, and they were notoriously bad.
Yeah.
Especially Carter because he just destroyed the country with his tax hikes, and he's below Trump by I think about 20 points or something. So he was at 36. If you know, leave something in the comments. Let us know. But yeah, it was at the bottom.
Yeah.
In the last 7 years of presidents.
That's crazy.
What a disaster! And like I said, people support him.
I don't understand.
I don't get
it's
it
funny.
either.
I get things pop up in my YouTube shorts like MSNBC, and then they'll be criticising Trump, and you go to the comment section, and it's all anti-Trump right through the whole comment section. So it's like this on both sides of the fence. Whether you're pro-Trump, anti-Biden, or the other way around.
Yeah, but I think that's a lot of it because of the media is hiding so much. Imagine if the media was truthful. Imagine his ratings then.
Yeah, well, I look at some of the stuff.
It wouldn't be the same.
Pardon me. I look at some of the stuff that MSNBC says about Trump, and you think if you didn't know any better, that would sound, legitimate.
Yeah.
And you can see why people would be enraged. But we did this. What was our very first episode? Was the bloodbath episode? Remember?
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
So we know how it works.
I just saw a clip, and it was an old clip of Jimmy Kimmel, and he's another one with TDS. He really gets stuck into Trump just about every episode. How they have that opening monologue.
Yeah.
99% of the time, it's about Trump. And in this particular case, it's an old interview with Trump, and it was 2015. So I think he just announced he was running for the presidency.
Yep.
And you should see the exchange. I won't play because it's like 4.5 minutes, 5 minutes long. It's a bit long to play. But the exchange those two people were having. Jimmy Kimmel was amazingly cordial and really pleasant the way he talked to him. Now he just calls him all sorts of names. So something changed from the time he started running to the time he became president.
Yeah.
Because then, Stephen Colbert, Jimmy Kimmel, everybody on the left just got stuck into him.
Yeah.
And it was relentless. In 2019, they had a poll. 98% of the news was negative against Trump. And that's crazy figures. And why? Why did it change?
Just the rhetoric that
exactly.
people were given. Yeah.
I just don't. I mean, I admit I was one of the people that didn't like Trump. It wasn't until again during the lockdowns that I started looking into and finding out. Oh shit! This is not real. Charlottesville. We've spoken about this on previous episodes. Charlottesville. When I found out the truth of that story, was the one that started me basically delving into and going, what's going on? That type of thing.
I'm sort of the opposite in that way. Like I was a massive Trump fanboy when he first came out.
Yeah.
First came out, 2016. I was just Trump. I couldn't get enough. People were buying me Trump coffee mugs and freaking because everyone was like, oh, Gary and Trump, and I'm okay. So I was a huge fan. Now I can take him or leave him. I think I still say that he's the best option.
Yeah.
Out of the
well, they
people
don't have any other options.
No, he's the best of a bunch of bad options, but that doesn't make him good. I think he's still got his faults. He wouldn't be. I know that a lot of things have been made up and a lot of things have been twisted and manipulated, but he wouldn't be in court now if he was a nice guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think it was Arizona, the new DA there, has filed, I think, 6 charges over the weekend. Another 6 felony charges.
There's a lot of charges. And a lot of people I know that are either anti-Trump or neutral are saying that the Stormy Daniels thing the whole thing will be his undoing.
You reckon?
Yeah, well, I don't reckon. That's what people are saying to me. And some of these people are politically minded people, so they've got their finger on the pulse.
Yeah.
And they're saying, when this whole Stormy Daniels thing comes to an end, that'll be the end of him. So it'd be interesting to see. But, there's so many things being thrown against him at the moment that it's like that old saying, you throw enough mud, some of it's got to stick.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree, especially...
Where there's smoke, there's fire.
The problem with the Stormy Daniels one is the fact that it's in New York. It's a very leftist city. It's a blue city, and the jury pool, who was it, Dershowitz or whatever that scholar, the legal scholar, he said it's a bad jury for Trump. So he may or may not have done it, but he'll probably get done on it simply because it's in New York.
But doesn't it bother you that he might have done it? Like, let's
But it's a book-
play devil's advocate again
but
for a minute.
But it's a bookkeeping era.
Yeah, but they're also saying it was
Election interference.
Election interferences. There's a lot of different cases against him at the moment.
Yeah.
And look, even if you, like I said to you once before, even if it is a bookkeeping error, and it's simple as that, and it's being blown out of proportion, what was he doing off shagging some bird when his wife's having a baby? He's got to question the moral standing of all of that. So that doesn't affect his role as a president, but that's a moral issue. But there's where there's smoke, there's fire. So, like I said, he's the best of a bunch of bad options. But
didn't she deny it ever happened?
At one stage, she did. She wrote that letter and she signed it, saying that it wasn't. But now they're saying that it did, and I don't know.
Which one's the lie? See, that's the issue for me.
This is the problem. So, and then it brings you around again, just playing devil's advocate. Yeah. But it brings you around to thinking, well, are we getting snowballed in the same way that these other idiots are about Joe Biden? We hear all this stuff about Joe Biden. Remember we've talked before about algorithms and echo chambers. We talk about those things a bit.
Understand. I know where you're going with this, but the difference. Let's get to the Hunter Biden's laptop. They denied it was true. They said it was Russian propaganda. The problem is there were so many emails, so many video footage of what was happening, that we saw from the laptop. We've got things like Stormy Daniels who's saying it did happen, then it didn't happen, and so forth, without any evidence that
I'm glad we haven't got any video evidence of
that. Apparently she had a bit of a story about him or something, he was talking about it. I think she talked about his dick or something.
Yeah,
at one stage.
she could identify it.
Yeah, and also that E.J. Carroll as well, whose story changed numerous times as well. And again, no evidence other than, it's not hearsay, other than her word, right? No video footage, nothing. Yet he was found liable with E.J. Carroll, and same thing's happening with Stormy Daniels. This started as a bookkeeping issue, and now they're trying to turn it into election interference because he was trying to pay out somebody regarding hush money to these people as well as Stormy. There was somebody else as well. I need to chase it up. Comments, check them out. Have it, put something there. And again, show me a video or some type of evidence, sperm, whatever on a jacket, whatever. Then we'll talk about it. We can discuss how much of a prick he is. But they don't have any of that. And the fact that they've taken a misdemeanor charge, which is what a bookkeeping issue is, which is how this started out, and turned it into a felony from a DA, Mr. Braggs himself, who has like a 63% change rate, changing felonies to misdemeanors. You've got to go, okay, what the fuck's going on here? You've got to question it. If it was all above board, and if he raped her and you had evidence, fuck him, put him into jail. I'm behind that. I'm 100% behind that. But there isn't anything.
Yep.
That's what gets my goat. Bah, see ya. That's the type of shit that drives me up the wall. Okay? Then also the really unlevel handing out of the justice system. Biden can have all the boxes you freaking want in his garage, but Trump isn't allowed to. He gets charged for it. Now, some new news that came out. What's the name? Who's the judge in Florida? I've forgotten her name. Sorry, guys. Old man, grumpy too. And she had just unsealed some documents, and in that document, it actually had, I think it was the DOJ that are having a conversation with the people that are entrusted with the presidential records. They had a pallet of Trump's documents. They said, what are we going to do with it? And they decided to send them to Trump. So they actually had those documents in custody, then shipped them to Trump. That was unsealed during the weekend. So was it a setup? I don't know.
Yeah.
Or
sounds like it.
Yeah, or maybe they just sent them over and then decided, oh shit, we've got a good opportunity here. Let's do something with it. I don't know, but those documents were sealed with that information, and like I said, it only came out this weekend.
Yep.
You know, that information was there. It was always there, but it was hidden.
Yeah.
So it's all these type of things. Again, like I mentioned earlier, when we talked about Charlottesville, we've got the bloodbath situation. What else? Oh, there's so many instances.
Oh, there's dozens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that I listen to and I go, okay, that's a lie. And then you start accumulating it all together and you go, okay, they're after him. And it's not a conspiracy theory on my behalf. It's actually happening. That's what they're doing.
Yeah.
You know, and everything they accuse Trump of doing, the freaking Democrats are doing to Trump. We know about Twitter files. Twitter files. I was about to say X files, but we know about the situation with the Twitter files. How the Biden administration actually colluded with Twitter to censor people. And then you had Facebook, you had Twitter also censoring. Or sorry, as Mark Zuckerberg said, they limited the reach of the story of the Hunter Biden laptop. So I guess you'd call it censored. So all these things are happening, and when did that start happening? When he freaking turned around and said, I'm running for president again. Yeah. Yeah. The guy could have retired and they wouldn't have touched him. There's a great interview of him talking about how he loves the country, and it's actually part of the Jimmy Kimmel one in 2015, how he saw that the country was going in the wrong direction and he wanted to help to save the country in 2015. He goes in, he promises to get rid of the swamp, doesn't do it because he got a whole shitload of wrong people. Sadly, I think he got bad advice. He must have got bad advice because he had a lot of bad people. And a lot of people ignored him as well. They would say one thing and they would go off and do something else.
Didn't take him seriously.
Yeah, exactly. So he had an administration that didn't actually support him. Then what was it, the second half of his presidency, he didn't even have the Senate or the House. So they were both Democrat. And so no matter what they tried to put through, everything was just being squashed. Yeah. So he couldn't get anything done. Now, he got the majority of the wall built. Now, a lot of the wall isn't brand new. A lot of it, let me rephrase that. You know, we see the big steel ones. Not all of the wall was like that. A lot of it was repairing areas that were already there, but they reinforced it. So he got a majority of what he promised done. He didn't get it all done simply because they stopped, and the Senate actually, I think the Senate or the House, actually stopped operating because they were trying to, stop the funds. Yeah, which is just recently
stonewalling.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go.
So I get really annoyed by this because he's out there trying to do his thing. He's trying to do his job. And I really, truly believe he's trying to help the country. He's not a fucking dictator. He's never been a dictator. I mean, if he was, he would have done it in his 4 years, and he didn't. Now, recently he came out and jokingly said, I'm going to be a dictator one day. And everyone ran with that particular phrase. And what he was referring to was, I'm going to be a dictator, we're going to drill, baby, drill. That's what he said. Because he wants to bring back energy to the US, you know.
That's right. Yep.
No, fuck you, because he's trying to do a job, and you fucking idiots on the... Sorry, I'm getting fired here. On the left are trying to stop a guy who's trying to save a country. We've got the same fucking idiots in this country.
Yeah.
All right? They're doing exactly the same thing. We can't have nuclear energy because they passed a law. I think they passed a law where we can't have it. That'll be our saving grace, that nuclear energy.
Absolutely.
None of these bullshit windmills. Windmills are fantastic on a small scale. You cannot try and survive on just windmills or renewable energy.
No, of course not.
Yeah, because renewable energy doesn't work all the time.
No. Well, look at the solar farms that are getting smashed.
Exactly. They're destroyed by hailstorms. There's this beautiful mountain range in China which is now covered in solar panels. It's something like, I think it was 200 acres of just solar panels. I mean, what the hell? Where are you, greenies? Why aren't you jumping up and down about it, It really annoys me that somebody who's obviously trying to, helped the country, they're kicking into him non-stop. Now, yeah, he says some dumb shit. He says dumb shit all the time.
We all do.
Yeah, and half of it is actually hilarious, and some of it is nasty. We know that, and we'll always call it out. And there's a couple of things that I wasn't a fan of when DeSantis started running for president. First thing Trump does is starts kicking into him. I thought that wasn't necessary. You know, this is a time where they should be showing some unity.
Yeah, stand
and
together.
Instead, you've got Republicans fighting left, right, and centre. You got Nikki Haley there as well, who's freaking Hillary Clinton, version 2.0, who's blabbering mouth, who's part of the state as well. Yeah, so if we still had Trump, guarantee it, nothing would be happening in Ukraine, nothing would be happening in Iran or Israel. Yeah. Because they were scared of him, because he was a nutcase. Trump says, you attack anything of mine, any of my installations, military installations, I will bomb the shit out of it. I will nuke you. And you kind of go, okay, all right, I ain't going anywhere near you. So the Taliban disappeared, and all of a sudden they're back now, out of freaking nowhere. And look what happened in Afghanistan.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Oh my God, that was supposed to be a peaceful withdrawal. It was a disaster. What was it? 14 American soldiers were killed, and when they turned up, freaking Biden's on his watch checking, his time.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be an honor march with these dead soldiers. What a piece of shit he is.
Yep.
And of course, he's lying constantly about his fucking cannibal, Oh, sorry, guys, I just went on a rant.
Now you see why I played devil's advocate.
I hope you watched that episode. Tell all your friends, make sure you subscribe, share.
Only took 14 episodes to get him going.
I was trying to be good.
I know, this is why I play devil's advocate. I'm trying to get this stuff out of you, mate.
I've been building this up for 14 episodes simply because, okay, we've got to be very professional. And on the news tonight we have...
Gloves are off, mate.
Yeah. Anyway, like we always do, let's lighten the mood for the last couple of minutes.
Have you caught your breath?
I still have a lot in me, and I'm thinking, geez, I better shut up.
No, mate. Good on you. Good on you.
You can expect more of that now because I've let the cat out of the bag.
Well, we've had a go each now. I lost mine last week.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yours was about censorship. Yeah. Anyway.
Very good.
Yeah. So yep. Trump, come back in. You need to save the world. Thanks to Elon Musk as well. Elon Musk. Anyway, did you know I'm a centrist? Sorry, centrist right.
Yeah. What happened to Mr. Lefty?
He's dead. He's been. He's been
they
dead
moved
for
the
a little
goals.
while.
That's all it is.
That's right. Yeah,
they moved the needle.
Anyway, now let's check out some movies, shall we? Some new movies coming out. Now this movie I didn't even know existed until you brought it up early today.
Yep.
It's another sequel to Bad Boys.
Yeah.
What are we on? What's this?
This is number 4. Yeah.
Number 4. And what do they call it? Ride or Die.
Yep.
So I haven't seen this preview. I have no idea what it's about. So, okay. Anyway, our new producer is 735 years old.
Still getting used to that.
His first day. He's been doing a great job, actually.
Second day.
Yeah. Of course.
Second day.
I forgot about him in one day. 2 days.
Sorry, JD.
Okay.
We love you,
JD. Let's get into it. Let's have a look at Bad Boys and, check it out.
Come on, Mike, slow down. We are late. My stomach, Mike. I need a ginger ale. Get a ginger ale and nothing else. Are those dogs fresh? Put them in yesterday. Give me one. Yeah, there you go. Open the register. Stay right there.
That Skittles on the counter, Marcus?
This ain't mine, Mike. Yes, it is. Mind your business with your cattle throwing nerve.
Marcus, get in the car.
He has a gun to my head.
Want to deal with him? You want to deal with me?
Call 911. Aren't you the police? Hey, Reggie, you eat my snacks?
No, sir.
You need to get a job.
I'm a U.S. Marine, sir.
Well, then you need to deploy.
Evidence that the late Captain Conrad Howard of Miami PD was working with drug cartels for years.
Captain
Captain Howard is being framed.
What the hell?
He's texting us from the other side.
No, he's not, Marcus.
If he's seeing this, I'm probably dead. I don't know how
Is that
high
Scotch
up
and
it
milk?
goes, but I don't trust anybody.
You should be careful. We're being set up, detectives.
We got 2 suspects, Lowry and Burnett. They're armed and dangerous.
In 5, 4, 3. No! We can't wait for Louis! It's flammable!
I don't care, scientist.
Y'all are some terrible fugitives.
I need nasty Mike. Bad boy. I got this. What you do,
Are y'all stealing our clothes?
Just because we black, we still in your
What?
Look at your shirt.
Why don't you sing us a little Reba song?
Reba.
Your favorite.
I'm a woman. No, I'm a strong black woman.
Strong.
Because she's not black. What you gonna do? What you gonna...
That ain't no Reba song.
It's from her mixtape.
What do you reckon?
It looks all right.
It's the same old same. Is it the same
Yeah.
director?
I don't know.
It's the director who did Transformers. I forget his name. Whatever.
Don't know. Looks all right though.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're a fan of Bad Boys, it'd probably be right up your alley. Yeah.
I like the first one. What was the first one? 90, 98, 99
it's
or
going
something?
back away.
Yeah.
Before
a while ago.
way before he slapped anybody.
Has he recovered for that? You reckon he's recovered?
I don't know. Wasn't this
Do
is
you
obviously this is after that.
Yeah. Do you think this movie is supposed to like reignite his?
I don't think there's any of that in it. I think it's more just, he's an actor. He's making another movie.
Yeah. Another sequel.
Yeah.
Talking about sequels, we have another one.
Yes, we do.
We have another number 4. This time around is cartoons.
Yeah, a bit of fun.
Yeah. I love this whole series. Despicable Me, they've got a 4th movie coming out very, very shortly as well. Let's check this one out. And you got to love the little yellow people.
Hello, everybody.
Roo, what's up?
Wait a minute. 3 girls, 1 wife. Something is missing.
This guy.
Oh, there's my boys. I know you love your dada. Go on, say it. Dada. Dada.
Yes, of course he loves you. He just doesn't show it on his face. Or with his body language. Right, Prue Jr., come on.
Gru, I need a word with you. Your family's lives are at stake.
What?
Maxime Ramal has escaped from prison.
I'm coming for my revenge, Gru.
We have to get to the safe house.
It has a vending machine! I love this place! Oh, no. Look up.
The most important part of a heist is being aware of potential dangers. I trained myself! What?
Oh no.
Thanks, Ron.
Oh, no. I
Looks
think
like
the
a lot of
Minions
fun.
are the best characters ever created.
Oh, yeah.
I love them.
Oh, look, when I'm that old, I want a wheelchair like that.
A wheelchair. I want more Minions.
Yeah, they're great, aren't they?
I think they're brilliant. Okay, that's it for another episode. I think we even ran over time because we got so heated. Or I got so heated.
No, I was.
Yeah. Thank you very much for joining us. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and share it because that'll help the channel grow. I love coming and having a bit of chat with my friend here, Young Pinky. And great to have you. And goodbye from me.
And goodbye from him.
Point,